What up, man? It's your big brother, K-Rino. Excuse me for a second. It's your big brother, K-Rino, man. Let's get right into it, man. I don't plan on being long. I didn't plan on being on here at all, but I wanted to discuss this. A lot of people have been asking me about this brother and asking me to speak on it. And I think that a lot of people start just smashing on him, or whatever the case might be. But, as we try to grow and mature as men, as women, we try to handle situations the most proper way that we can, or the way that we should. That's not to say that we can look at a situation and ignore the negativity of it, or be dismissive of it, or be soft in how we handle it. But on the same token, we got to be very careful to not walk that line of condemning a brother or condemning a sister. But we do have to go after this. So that's what I'm gonna do. Y'all hit the like button as y'all come into the door. Make sure y'all hit the like button as you come into the door, man. Do that right now if you haven't already did it for your big brother. Do a quick little commercial before we start, before we get it in. Y'all did not know I have a new album that just dropped about a month or so ago. It's called A Blessing in the Burden. And you can go to southparkcoalition.net right now and get that album. Or you can go to all the digital sites and get that album. Do that right now, or when the live is over. In a recent interview, Lil Nas X was being asked about the content that he's putting out and the influence that it has over the youth. And one of his replies to that question was, F your kids. Just flat out said, F your kids, when asked about the persuasion and the influence that not only his lyrics, but his actions. Because I would think that at this point, the things that he projects through his actions, the shock value that he uses by showing himself to be pregnant, by putting on a dress, by making mockery of what we refer to as the gay agenda. These are things that we look at that seem to be more influential and more controversial than his actual music. People know some of the songs. I mean, if you're an older person like me, I couldn't name one song. I couldn't tell you one of his songs, except for the one that they play all the time, the Old Time Road song. I am familiar with that one. But what we got to understand is that even though we can look at this man's behavior and the things that he's doing, and we can definitely be like, come on, bro. Come on, man. No, sir. No, 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 no. We got to understand that there are bigger powers in place and bigger hands controlling this whole situation than what we see on the surface. Just him out here doing these controversial things. If a person who is supported, who is being made wealthy, who's being made rich by the financial support of a particular group, comes out and says, F that group, meaning the children, because I'm assuming that there are not many, I don't want to say not many, but I feel safe in saying that not a lot of people 35 and up are buying Lil Nas X music. Would y'all agree with that? What would y'all put in the comments? What would y'all say that the average age demographic would be that purchases the music of Lil Nas X? I'm gonna ask two questions. That was one. What is the average age demographic, in y'all's opinion, that actually purchase his music, whether they buy a CD or whether they get it through the digital platforms? I'm curious to know what y'all's guess is. That bracket, like Track Sparrow said, 18 to 25. What is it? What is that? What is that bracket from this age to that age? Somebody said, a couple of people saying 18 to 25. Everybody's saying 18 to 25. Okay. Well, so far, everybody who's commented, not many of y'all have commented on that. Okay, now it's starting to kick in. 12 to 25, 13 to 15. Okay, that would lead me more into my second question. Now, that's the question I asked about the age demographic of people who are purchasing his music. Now, I would like to know what the age demographic is of people who are listening to his music. Because, of course, we know, but I'll say that part after y'all. What is the age of people who listen to it? They might not buy it. They may not be old enough to buy it, but they are familiar with the songs. They go on YouTube and listen to them, or they find them through other means. What is that age group of people who listen? And I'm getting somewhere with that. That's the reason why I'm asking these questions. So some people are saying 5 to 23. I see 7 to 16. I see 1 to 40. I kind of disagree with the 40 being locked in as part of the average group, part of the majority group that listen. I can't picture people that old consistently rocking out to Lil Nas X album. 13 and up, 13 plus, but that plus could be 2 to 90. 7 to 18, 3 to 27. 3 is really young, but I don't put it past it because I've seen too many videos of young 1, 2-year-old babies doing things that they shouldn't be doing, or singing songs they shouldn't be singing. 5 to 18, 6 and up. I guess that's 4 to 23, 5 and up. Okay, the point is this, because y'all are proving my point. To be in the category of those who listen to this music, who listen to this brother's music, it represents a very large amount of very, very young children, very young children who listen to this music. And those who may actually get their hands on the music, it most likely was not purchased by them. It most likely was not purchased by them. It was purchased by a parent. Now, whether the parent doesn't really fully understand what the child is listening to, whether the parent doesn't fully understand the lyrics that are being said, because hip hop can be almost like a foreign language or a coded language that needs to be deciphered by generations of people who don't really listen to it or who haven't come up listening to it. And even if we come up listening to it like me, some of the new hip hop, I was like, I don't know what he said. I don't know what he meant. But there are young people who can quote it line for line, word for word, and they understand exactly what he's saying. Oh, no, he talking about the police when he said this. And okay. Tell me something I didn't know. But like Queen Sheba just said, a lot of them can listen to it on YouTube because the younger generation, they all got phones. 11, 12, 8, 9, 10 years old, they got phones. And it's only so much you can prevent your child from listening to. I don't care how many blocks you try to put in content prevention mechanisms that may be available, they'll find a way to listen. But if the parent is purchasing it, and then somebody comes along and says, hey, well, man, what do you feel is your responsibility? Because you're doing a lot of controversial stuff that people are not agreeing with as it relates to how it's influencing their children. Then you turn around and say, man, F your children. That speaks to a mindset that has to be dealt with. It just got to be dealt with. Because now you are in it for self. You're in it for self, and you're in it for the wealth that it brings you, more so or exclusively, rather than the effect that it's going to have on the youth and on the generations under you that listen to that music and become influenced by what you are doing. So what does it do to a 5-year-old little boy, 8-year-old little boy, 12-year-old, 13, 15-year-old little boy that sees a young male artist portraying himself to be pregnant and carrying a baby? How does that play on the mind of a young boy who may like that music, may be a fan of that artist? But you started off initially a fan of that artist, man, I like his songs, and then one day you look up and see this, you're like, whoa. How do you as a parent navigate through that to make your child understand that? Do you snatch the whole right for him or her to listen to that music? I just told you they still don't find a way to listen to it. Do we dismiss it as saying, oh man, that's just entertainment? He's not real. And that's not going to have any effect on my child. That's not going to have no effect on my child at all. That's just entertainment. Do we look at it like that? And if we do look at it like that, are we making a mistake? Because at this point, we should know that the music that artists make, and not just the music that they make, but the image that they present and project, absolutely has an influence on the behavior of the fan base. Absolutely. We would be foolish to not understand that. Grown people are not buying or listening to Lil Nas X, in my opinion. I don't know many 45-year-olds that's purchasing Lil Nas X for them to listen to themselves. Where does accountability come in for the artist? Now I'm gonna get to the industry in a minute, because y'all know I'm not gonna let that go, because that's the jump off the top rope right there. But at 22 years old, this young man is 22 years old. Does he know better? And he don't care? Or is he just young and he haven't walked into his understanding yet? He hasn't reached a level of growth and maturity yet to go, wow, like many of us had to do. Because I will say that on other levels, not pushing no gay agenda, but it was times where we all as artists have pushed negativity in our lyrics. We've all done it. Some people still do it at an older age. But over time, we were blessed to grow out of it. Over time, we were blessed to gain the understanding that, you know what, man? It is somebody out here that will actually go out and do what I'm saying if I ain't careful. Because we'll think in our mind, well, you know what, man? I'm just saying something, man. It's like watching a movie. Ain't nobody gonna really go out there and try to do what I said. Nah, it's always one or three or five or eight. See? So we had to reach a point where we started to be more careful